computer. So Star, take it away.
Hi,
Panicked for
Star.
a moment thinking I was late. I was like, wait, did I get the time wrong? It's time zones. And I'm in Arizona and we do not do daylight savings time. So I'm always trying to figure out where the rest of the country is compared to.
So how far are you from like the East Coast in hours? 2
I
or
think
3?
two
Two,
right
okay.
now. Yeah, I just checked. I was like, I'm not late. Am I? Over one?
No, maybe.
Oh.
I'm from Arizona.
Oh, I was like, wait, no. Okay, yes, it's 10 a.m.
I was holding up my hand.
Okay, that's all I know. I know where we are here. Okay, hi. I just thought maybe we could first. I had like 2 topics going off of Bradley's meeting last week. And the first, I thought we could just share our personal protection practices. I know that's something that I'm working on because honestly, it's not something I did on a daily basis until Florida. And I was like, oh, I should probably be doing that. And then maybe touch in with our manifestation list. And today is Lunar New Year, so like great time to set some intentions. So I figured maybe we could do the personal protection practices first, and then we'll go around again and do our manifestation, like maybe just an intention.
Okay, so Donna is saying she couldn't hear the first
can you hear
part of
me?
what you were saying. Well, it's
I'm sorry.
muffled, it's in and out.
Let me see. I'm on my headset so that. Yeah. Let me just.
I had to turn all the way up also. I was having a little trouble hearing it. I took my earphone off. So I could use my computer.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. It went to my my other microphone, sorry. So that's better. Okay. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry, it's okay. We're glad we can say, listen, we can't hear you.
So personal protection practices maybe first, and then we'll go around and share our like manifestation. I know we did the manifestation list in Florida, so maybe we can touch in on that. And I know like personally, I have some like a few things from it that I really want to focus on this year. So maybe discuss that. And then I don't know if anyone has any ideas on how we can help each other boost that manifestation. So I figured we'll just go around once for each topic. And the way I've done it in all my other Zoom meetings is you just call out someone's name who hasn't gone yet. So just pick someone after you. So like tag someone and then they go.
So you're gonna pick.
Well, how about Mary Sue? You go first with your personal
Okay.
protection.
Okay, my personal protection kind of goes along with some meditations that I have listened to by Steve Noble. And I really enjoy his meditation. So I like to, first of all, when I get out of bed, I say thank you. And then when it's time for me to begin meditating, I call in Raphael from the east, Archangel Michael from the south, Archangel Gabriel from the west, and Archangel Uriel from the north, Archangel Metatron from heaven above, and Sandalphon from below. And then I might add other archangels when I have certain things that that are on my mind, or I felt like I've had some communication from them. And I will ask for each of their traits, like Raphael to come into my body with his green healing light, and go into all the parts of my body, healing all the way down to the DNA and so forth. And I'll ask Archangel Michael to place his blue bubble over the top of my home and the room that I'm meditating in. Archangel Gabriel to come with good communication so that I can feel comfortable communicating and listening and so forth. And so anyway, I don't want to elaborate on all of that, but because we'll need to get on to other people, but I do call those angels in specifically for my meditation practice, and I try to do it every day.
Thank you.
Do you want to pick someone? Go next.
Let's say Nicole.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So my personal protective practices, it's interesting. I guess I've never kind of lined them up in my brain. One would be that prayer, for sure. So more recently with the archangels and my guardian angels, since the guardian angel work, but prior to that, I would literally I pray to God, Jesus. I would just ask for guidance and support. Another practice is the serenity prayer. So that is a common thing in my practice these days, just because of a challenging thing at home. So, but beyond that, I would say some rituals. So every morning, starting my routine, my self-care, like physically self-care, and then I'll sit at the bedside and I'll put lotion on my feet, which seems kind of silly, but when you do that every day and you're taking care of yourself, and then as I'm doing that, I'm doing some gratitude prayers and just pretty much psyching myself up for the day and making plans in my head. I do not look at my phone when I wake up. I don't read the news. So there's a lot that I do to protect myself. But when I look at my phone, the first thing I look at is just the calendar, like what's on the plan for the day. And then I don't read emails or anything like that. And I really don't listen to the news. There's days where people are like, oh, did you hear blah, blah, like this going on? I'm like, oh, is it? I had no idea there was a war in the Ukraine for like how many days or something, because I just don't, if it doesn't affect my direct family, the people I support, then it's not something that I really worry my brain with, I guess. So yeah, so those are probably my personal protection practices that I use the most. And calling on the support of family or good friends. I'm pretty honest with people in that. I don't hide something if I'm concerned or if I have a need or a worry. I share that and I ask for support. So that's that. Go on to Kevin.
Okay, well, thank you. I think my daily protection ritual kind of changes a little bit, not by a great deal. Like Mary Sue and Nicole, when I get up, I just thank you. And that's been going on for about 10 years or more. When I go in, obviously the bathroom, brushing my teeth, I'm actually in that mode of being grateful for being able to do it. The warm water, the warm heat, the house, all of that. And that sort of sets it up for the day. The meditation practice for me is right when I start to go do that video of the day, which is super, super early. I want to put myself in that space of being able to receive the message and the guidance from whatever deck, whatever cards I'm going to pull for that day. And that does require me, I simply bring in Archangel Michael. Sometimes when I sit and I ask Archangel Michael, usually I say thank you for stepping in where you've always been and bringing me this golden white light of protection. And thank you for cutting and removing the energetic ties that bind me to people, places, situations, stories, and any drama that no longer serves my highest purpose or the highest purpose of what I'm here to do. And that usually sort of sets the tone, and I can go meditate and see if there's any messages coming through. One thing I found interesting about what Radley said in our last call about it came up on codes for shielding and this white light, and we got to protect ourselves. And he mentioned these cutting the cords as if they were like cobwebs, as if they were sort of just attached. And I had never seen them, thought of them, or identified them like cobwebs, like they get stuck to things. And now it seems since we did that call, I'm almost seeing them. I'm sort of feeling them and seeing them. And I think it really is a practice of, if I had seen it and felt it in the very beginning when I started doing the prayer protection from Archangel Michael, it might have freaked me out. I might have been a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I want to ever do this again. But to be able to sort of wipe my hands off and then sort of wipe down, it does feel like I'm rinsing off all that gook. The protection piece used to be like a cloak, like the sparkly cloak of a coat, a blue coat. Now it's more as if it were an energy coming up from the floor, moving out to the walls, going up the walls, over the house. And wherever there's an opening to the outside, I'm seeing it as being light, like light shining outward. That's just really the process. I can't say what the difference was before I did this as to now, because I don't really have that much of a reference, but I'm with Nicole. I turn off the news. I just don't want that distraction, because I think I would feel like all of you, we're doing so much for others all the time that to pull in that distraction, it almost feels to me, if you're coming from unconditional love, if you're coming from light, if you're coming from the highest good of everybody, when you hear about wars and you hear about murder and you hear about this really evil darkness, you can't help but get pulled into that space of feeling, oh, what can I do? What am I doing? How can I do it? And that sometimes gets in the way, because, you know, whatever's going out there in the world really doesn't have a lot to do with us unless it's immediately affecting us. Done. All right, Star, you're up next.
All right. Well, I'm like I mentioned before, I don't know if you guys heard me though, but I'm very new to it, because honestly, I didn't think about it a lot until Florida. And so I kind of started with just what Bradley had suggested, which is, you know, cutting those cords. So I try and do that every night, wrapping yourself in light. Prior to that, I had an angel reading with a local person here, and she said I don't know what it was exactly, kind of like an aura or whatever, was really huge. So like I'm always like feeling people out constantly, and she's like, you need to bring that in, like. And so prior to that, I was doing it, but not on a daily basis. I was trying to like rein myself in so that I wasn't like constantly had my feelers out for everyone. And that did help. I used to be a school teacher, and I would be dead at the end of the day. And I think it was just because I was feeling 30 children's emotions constantly. But so really, like, I have not done a lot. It's interesting to hear everyone's. And another thing though, I think Mary Sue was mentioning surrounding angels. So, you know, I listened to the angel prescription little class that we have in our resource library. And so I did, like, I took 2 of my card decks and I took the archangels out like he had suggested. And so I actually did, for me and my friends, I actually did just angel prescriptions for, like, I kind of did it for 2023, but I was like, until I feel like I need a new one. So I did actually pull Sandalphon, Ariel, Haniel, Metatron, and then Shamuel and Uriel popped out too. So I've been trying to surround myself with them.
Mm.
But that's pretty much it. But yes, I also agree on the news thing, because yes, I used to be very, trying to keep up with what was going on, but I've pulled back a lot from it. And I feel like, I still have a lot of friends who have not, and they expect me to be up on the news. So when they bring something up, I'm like, oh yeah, just play along. Like, I know what's going on, but I just kind of don't. So Donna, I don't think we heard from you.
Yeah, no, I loved listening to everybody's, and I think we all resonate with a lot of what each other says because we're so like-minded. But I do think that, for me, going to Tampa reminded me that I just need to open my channel. And for me, once I open my channel to the angels and I have gratitude, and oftentimes I'll do, ascended masters, and I call it legions of heaven, and, even my loved ones that have crossed over, my ancestry. I feel like once that channel is open, I am protected. Now, over time, when I first started protection, which was a long, long time ago, decades ago, I would walk around with a total armor. And, it would be that, in the medieval days with the big, suits the guys wore where they pulled down the mask. And, that's what I felt like I needed. And so particularly every time I went out in crowds, I would do that. I realized over time that I didn't quite need that visual. Plus I was blocking out receiving the good stuff. So then I learned to kind of temper that. I think you said, Kevin, with a sparkly, sort of like a Harry Potter type sparkly robe that would allow all love and light in, but block out anything that didn't serve my highest good. So I became less about using props and more, I think, like everybody else, of using color, white and purple. For me, I always go to Michael. He's my go-to for safety and security. But what I think I've learned over the years, and particularly with help from Radley, is Michael's power is love, not beefcake swords of warriorness, which I love, by the way. I'm Italian. I love that kind of, beefcake, tough guy. But really, it's love in the sword that I'm really hanging on to. And I think gratitude is key to protection. Again, opening the channel. I also use a lot of pointers. I'm a pointer person. I have crystals all over my house. I have angels all over my house. I just have all these pointers that just keep reminding me I'm connected and protected. And I think self-care is awesome. I loved hearing about self-care because I think that makes you worthy of the protection. And I pick and choose the news as well. I do like to be informed, but I cannot be inundated with a very slanted message from a 24-hour news cycle that's making money and not telling us, the truth. So, I just love what everybody said. And I do pull cards. I mean, to me, I get the most connection by pulling a card, and that makes me feel protected just by default. So that's me.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I have a question. Was it you that said you pull out all the archangels when you do an angel prescription?
Yeah, so he So I took 2 of his card decks. I actually have them right here.
What do you?
I
do
love
you
his
just-
decks. His decks are awesome, aren't they?
And combined them.
Okay, so you
So you
actually
just pulled
create
out the Archangel,
a mega deck out of that.
yeah, so you pull out the major arcana cards, which in these 2 decks are archangels.
You got one of them is the Angel Tarot deck, and what's the other one?
It is the Archangel Power Tarot.
So I was
Archangel
wondering about buying a separate second set of decks to be able to do this instead of using the ones I generally use, because it seems
Yeah.
like I don't want to mix them up and then have to figure out which ones go back together.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a ton of decks. So I was like, okay, I guess I could sacrifice 2 of them for this. So I did it. And then it just so happened that I did it like prior to Christmas, and it just so happened for Christmas, my friend, who was very kind, did not realize that I have like every Radley deck that exists, bought me his first one as a gift. So I actually got this one, which I really love. Like, this is probably still my favorite. So it was a bonus that I got it. So now I have 2 and I can sacrifice this one. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I did.
Thank you. What was the second part of this exercise or this meeting?
So manifestation. So just checking in with our lists. I don't know if anyone has like, hey, cross this off my list. I mean, that would be great. But and today's Lunar New Year. So it's probably a wonderful day to set intentions for the upcoming year and kind of what we want to manifest. I kind of, it was a long list. I don't know, some of ours are probably shorter, some of ours longer, but I'm kind of focusing on like 1 or 2. And I feel like honestly, 1 or 2 of those things it's like a domino, it'll kind of have an effect on the rest of the stuff. So physically this year, I've decided I really want to work on, I'm a children's book writer, and I have a manuscript that I had been working on and just finishing up. It's not my first manuscript by any means, but it's one that I really love, and I just really want to get it published, and I want it to be commercially published, not self-published. So that is something I'm manifesting. It actually won an award already. And I also got into a writing program that I'm going to be attending in May to work on it. So I feel like I'm coming towards that, but that's my main manifestation goal. And then a lot of my other stuff like self-sustainability and abundance, self-assuredness, finding my voice, and actually finding connection all go into that, because I feel like I'm very connected when I'm writing, and I can tell when I'm connected when I'm writing. Like, the words flow better. So I feel like that's a connection point for me. So that would be me.
Congratulations on that. Being able to manifest that and win awards. And I see it already I kind of see it already happening, even by the way you describe it, but that's a big deal. Congratulations.
Yes. And I will say, it's been something that like I've been working on since pre-pandemic, and I kind of got so frustrated and exhausted, I think, with as the world did during the pandemic. I thought I was done with writing, and I entered it into a contest, and then I just said, I'm not going to touch it. And if nothing happens, I'm just not going to go back to writing. And then I got like first place. So in the contest. So so I was like, okay, I guess I gotta go. So
what age of children is the book geared to?
It's middle grade. So that typically in publishing world is like 8 to 13. 7, maybe 7, depending on how strong we're reading.
That's
great.
very neat.
Yeah.
Congrats. Wonderful.
Thank you. So that's like my one, I think, thing that I'm focusing on this manifesting this year.
Great.
So
Um,
how would this group in any way be able to help? Would it be
I don't
through
know.
your,
So if you guys have
intention?
ideas, I was kind of actually like, I didn't, because I was like Googling group manifestation. How do you do? I don't know. Like, I
Yeah.
guess maybe if anyone has ideas, I would love to hear them rather than just throwing stuff out that I found on Google. So
Would you like someone to read your manuscript? Because I love reading manuscripts or editing. You just giving you an opinion or something if you want.
yeah, I mean, I do like, so one thing I kind of want to, like the writing program is for that. Like, it's like an intensive 3-day workshop where you get into a group and you tear apart each other's manuscripts.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. That's good.
Yeah. So yes, I mean, because I need that. Like I had a writing group pre-pandemic, but everything kind of fell apart. And so, yeah.
Would it help for us to either every time we get together or in between send you, I don't know, emails saying, hope it's good. I don't know, like. would
Yeah.
any
Well,
of
I don't
that
know. I mean,
help?
I was thinking maybe what can we do for each other?
Mhm.
Like, something that, I'm like, it doesn't have to be specifically for me, but like, what can we
Right.
do for each other to help support each other's goals and
Pray for our
kinda-
intentions. Or,
yes, that kind of stuff. So I'm,
or when we get together, meditate, do a quick meditation for the manifestation of our intentions that we've expressed here today. Or I don't know, I'm just trying to,
Mhm.
Mhm.
because I love this idea
Adding.
of supporting each other.
Adding to a prayer list, just putting that out into the universe every time we have a chance to think about things that we are wishing for people and hoping for people, that we add your publishing and your writing to our list, sending you those vibes.
So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing from that is your main goal to get that book published, or is it in that process?
that is my main goal. It doesn't have to be this year, but I'd like there are steps to that. Like you have to get an agent, then the agent has to shop it out to publishers. And then so I'm not exactly like thinking, oh, I'm going to get it published this year, but I would like.
I got when you were talking about that, and my grown 4-legged son here, Dudley, was trying to interrupt. I got this message that it's about setting yourself these targets, because I kept seeing the target symbol. And it was like, okay, so the big target with the bullseye in it and the arrow is you holding that book in your hand with the title and the author and going places and signing this book and just rah, rah, rah. What I also heard a woman, spirit guide person, say, do you tend to get hung up in the details?
I'm working on that. And I think that's like why I took that big break, and because I was so caught up in those details. Like I couldn't
this
handle it
woman,
anymore.
I don't know who this woman is, but this female, it's a female voice, is saying that it's a bit like quicksand. When you get into those details, you're up in the weeds and this stuff is pulling you down. The break that you took to clear that out was perfect. And what somebody somewhere here is saying, set yourself 5 targets. The biggest target is the arrow in the thing, that you've got it and you've worked on it. And then what other those other 4 steps are. So the one I feel like we can help you get, not that we know these people, but we could help you land an agent. And my goodness, you're in this group with, I don't know how many authors in that CAA group who got to know agents, have got to know who you can knock the door of. Lord, our teacher, Radley Valentine, now he has Hay House, but I'm sure he's got this agency list of who you would contact. And what I hear, pick 3. pick 3 agents that you go with, and then you'll know by that meeting or that conversation what steps. Well, step 1 is the agent. Then there's the
Mhm.
step 2. What do you do next? And I feel like if you get these bullet point targets, your energy will flow into that whole thing, and you'll end up with it. And then pick yourself a date when you're doing this, signing books and getting it published. I want to say you better hold up and say we're doing this in November 2023.
Visualization. Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
I think
right.
I'm down for
you-
that.
yeah,
Yes.
you-
Okay. Yes.
Oh,
Another person to maybe talk to is Mooney, Radley's friend.
Mhm.
Because I spoke with him one evening after our training, and I said, "Oh, I have a very small children's book with Balboa Press, which is a subset of Hay House."
Oh,
And he
okay,
was
yeah.
like, well, "You got to pull that out. You got to pull that out of Balboa." I was like, "I will," because they don't make saddle stitch books anymore, so they're not printing it anymore.
Oh. Do you
But
have
he
your
was
rights
like,
back?
"Well, that's what he was saying, is I've got to pull it out of there."
Okay.
And
yeah,
then
so you
just
can
do like
something.
independent or whatever. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do it at some point.
Yeah.
But anyways, he sounded very knowledgeable around a lot of that. So yeah, maybe
Interesting.
even
Okay.
picking Mooney's brain. And I think I have his email, or he's got like a website if you don't have it.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
That's all great ideas. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. That
Awesome.
was, yeah, that's
I think that's how
probably,
I almost feel like, and I don't know about all of you, I almost feel like that's how we do end up supporting each other,
Mhm.
is to see when we're listening to these manifestation goals, if there any nugget that's pulling out like Donna, I think you said in the beginning when we first set up our group, was we should do readings for each other and we should do things and stuff for each other. This is how I feel like we hold each other up and support each other, by seeing what's coming.
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. Because it does, get your own gets jumbled in your head sometimes with.
Getting that energy to push you along as well, with other people, pushing their energy towards your goal as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Why don't we hear Nicole?
Okay. Of course, my phone was ringing right as you switched
Oh
me over.
no. Well,
It's all good. It's all good. I
Okay.
sent it to voicemail. Oh, sucker. It's my husband. Hang on. I'm just going to send it to voicemail again. Okay. So, okay. I did pull out my list from the conference, the manifesting list. And I guess just a quick background on me. I've been a nurse and a nurse educator for, I don't know, over almost 30 years. So I'm very comfortable helping people in that regard, right? And as a leader in the nursing field, head of whatever, chairperson and president of our nursing organization and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the energy therapies and angel, like I've done a lot of different energy therapies over the years, and now connecting further to the angels, I've not had the confidence in this area to share with others like I have my nursing. So my manifesting was, I am manifesting the courage to show others that they can help themselves. I am a light and love for my family, friends, and a true helper and healer for others beyond the physical realm into spirituality and emotionally. I am hearing, feeling, and understanding messages from my angels to best support myself and others to spiritual, emotional, and physical abundance. And then I am worthy of abundance and financial abundance for my gifts and skills and contributions, so that money flows into my life with abundance for all my needs and desires and ability to share with others. So funny thing happened right after, I think it was that night, after doing that part of our learning in Tampa. I logged into my nursing organization, the email that came through, and it was the last night for proposals for talks at the conference, the annual conference. And I've done talks before, but always on topic for the nursing related thing. And this time I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to just talk to these nurses about wellness and taking care of yourself. And, and so I did, I put in a keynote proposal and I titled it Inspiring Uniqueness, with like YOU uniqueness. And a few weeks ago, I got an email and they accepted it. So, so it's pretty cool. It's like, holy shit, a keynote. Okay, I can do it. I know the group. Like it's a group I'm super comfortable with. But the content now it's like I have to dive into what I've learned over the years, where I've got my strength and what were my weaknesses and the challenges, and just how to support others to be able to push through, right? And to find a happiness in their days, no matter what's going on and that kind of stuff. So
That's
yeah, I think
exciting. Oh, you.
it's kind of crazy, and getting paid for it. Because they ask, and I used to be on the conference planning committee, so I know what they pay for keynotes. So I was like, well, I'm not going to ask for like $10,000 because I just think that's highway robbery to the group, right? But I was like, well, you can pay for my conference, my flights, my hotel, and chuck me $1,000. So
$1,000.
yeah, it's an hour. It's all good. Like, because I know
Well,
the
it's an
group,
hour,
right?
but you're
Right.
traveling. So it's
Okay.
more-
Yeah.
Well, $1,000 an hour for talking plus expenses, I think that's pretty fair. But if it was a whole weekend, yeah, no.
Oh no. And I would have
Yeah, I
gone to
agree.
the
You should charge
conference
more.
anyway. Like that's the other thing. It's a conference I would have attended on my own dime. So now I get to attend it all for nothing and make money.
Yeah.
This
No.
is so cool.
That
It's
is
fun.
cool. That is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, well, I like, since we're popping up things that come to our head, I got Healer of Healers that's popped in my head. So
Oh, thank you.
definitely have a lot of healing type of energy to you.
Well,
So,
thank you. And this is what I find is that, as empaths, nurses take on a lot, and then so many, especially now, burnt out with the everything with COVID and being overworked and everything else. So I just want to bring some love and light and help people find some renewed energy around their passion of nursing
Wow.
and self-care.
And nursing has changed so much. The role of a nurse has changed so much in the last 30 years. It must have been quite a journey for you.
Yeah. And living with chronic illness, like so myself, so healing, physically getting myself well and how to do that while caring for others. And yeah, so it's good. It's fun.
Wow.
All right.
You're gonna help a
I'll-
lot of people.
Thank you. I hope so.
Oh, yeah, you will. Yeah.
so where
Uh,
do you want to take it from here? Like that's,
So
do you want to do more
So,
talks? Do you want to like,
I'd be happy doing more talks. I think for healthcare fields, like I used to work as a medic as well. So Donna, when you were speaking earlier, about working with paramedics and stuff, there's just so much overwhelm and stress and anxiety and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think I'd love to do more in-person talks. And then from an angel business, I'd like to start growing that that side of my business or my life into a somewhat of a business, but not like full time, because I'm actually ramping up to retirement from nursing within the next 5 years. And I would just like to be able to do some of the energy work, spiritual angel work when I want. So yeah.
so are you thinking, sorry, I'm also like, I have a website and marketing business. So I'm also like, I'm always like thinking like, okay, how are you going to brand yourself? How are you going to, so are you thinking, I'm thinking about a target market. Sorry, it's just where my mind goes, but are you thinking of like taking your CAA stuff to individuals, or are you thinking about doing like group work, like along the same lines with nurses and other healers and that kind of stuff?
I feel like I can do both. I feel comfortable that I could do both group and individual in the future. Like I've done some group work around vision boards, but more just with family and friends, and incorporated some energy clearing techniques, but I didn't really incorporate any angel work with that. So I do have a website. It's more of a blog, like a WordPress, but it's just not up to date. And it's called Inspiring Uniqueness. So, and then every day for the last 2 years, like once a week it pops up on a Saturday or Sunday and it says inspiring uniqueness today, you know, a 3-hour time block. So it's coming. I just haven't done it yet. So it's coming for sure. Yeah.
And along the lines of what Star said, you have a great distribution channel because you have 30 years of people that need you to bring this to them. So, wow, the possibilities are endless is what I'm feeling.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It's good. It's good stuff. All right. So pass it to Mary Sue.
Okay. I have my list as well from Tampa, and a lot of those things are long-term, like health, mental and physical. I'm 71, and so I'd like to be able to help others with my readings and know myself. That's been a constant thing from the time I was young. Forgiveness of myself and others, courage to continue to be doing readings, do a very minimal amount of readings. I'm retired and I'd like to spend time with my husband traveling and so forth. At one time, I did think about writing a children's book. I have a pizza poem that I started to illustrate. I was an art teacher and I took a couple courses on writing and got a bad review on one and then stopped. So from a teacher, sort of turned you off a little bit. Being a teacher myself, it was a little frustrating. But so let's see. Continuing to learn. That is it's been my life. A good student, a teacher for 29 years and continue to read and do those kinds of things and not to underestimate what I can accomplish. But I do love my hermit life with my husband, living in a log cabin in the woods. And so I'm not at the end of my life, you know, but I am not interested in working full time anymore. Enjoying the hell out of my retirement and enjoying taking the classes and doing readings daily for myself. I don't do a whole lot of readings for others, but I would like to maybe go to some markets and set up a booth. And I do have my online thing. And that was my goal for January, was to Calendly connect Zoom to my website so that if somebody by chance finds my my page, that they would be able to hire me to do a reading. And then I need to really work on doing those blogs and readings on the page. And we've had a lot of visitors through the winter. They come up here because they can get into the snow. And so I've had family and so forth through the holidays, and finally things are slowing down, and I'm hoping to be able to work on that. But I don't have big manifestation. I just want to enjoy this. And so I would be glad to put all of your intentions and wishes on a prayer list and send energy to y'all as well. So
I get that you're a pretty decent facilitator. Did you work as a facilitator when you were in a career?
I was a teacher. I was a high school teacher. I had about 150, 160 students a year. And I did that. I taught high school, mainly high school art. So I was a facilitator, I guess you could say, for doing their artwork.
So it feels like that's how your readings seem like they might mold into, when it feels as if you'll get your marketing piece for your website and the Zoom calls is really for those folks who are really looking to come into the light, looking to come into something more spiritual and really have no clue where to start, because you have this natural ability of being able to dot the right T or dot the right I and cross the right T and sort of get that intuition going. You might want to consider doing some online Zoom classes, even if it were like 4 to 6 people that taught somewhat the basics of what, spirituality. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, it does. And maybe even painting a little watercolor of an archangel or um, you know, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Um, the technical part of it is a little more difficult for me. But I do have a 40-year-old son who is in tech who can help me, but he's busy as well. Job.
So the technical
that's
part,
a
is
great idea.
that is your technical lack of technical knowledge, the fear that you don't know what you're doing?
Yes, a big piece of that. Yes.
Well, that was mine. And then I forced myself to learn it. I mean, we
Yes,
had a
and
pandemic and I didn't know what else to do. It was either drink scotch and smoke cigarettes or figure out how to put it together. And I thought smoking cigarettes and drinking scotch, already been there and done that. And that didn't turn out very well.
Oh gosh. Yeah, Mary Sue, I agree that the art, something about the art just struck to me as that's a gift that you have that others are going to want.
So
So-
I always had this envision doing the, the archangel prescriptions, like, because archangels have those colors assigned to them. And some people may connect with colors more than they would the angels themselves, like doing some sort of color. I don't know if it's art, just something that would like a person can have like from their reading that they could, to help them focus on daily to bring in that
color
energy.
therapy in a way.
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
That would
But yeah,
make,
I could
that
see you
would
doing
make you
something.
so unique in marketing if you were to do something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like have
Yeah.
something to give someone, or and I don't know what your art what your art focus
Well,
is, but like,
I did painting and drawing, so it was not 3D art, but 2D art. And when I first retired, I had this goal that one of the reasons I said I was retiring was I was meet and sell my paintings. So that first year that I retired, I did 12 paintings. I sold 12 paintings. I sold them all and I'm done. I mean, I feel like I did it. I put my money where my mouth was. And now I'm not so interested in doing any painting anymore because I did get into the angelic stuff. Now I don't mind helping somebody else paint, but I think
you're done with that.
I'm done with that piece of it. Although I didn't throw away my art supplies and I have some canvases up in the attic, so there's always that option to get back to it.
Right, we've got about 11 minutes left.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness, and there's more people to go. So go, Donna.
Okay, I loved this suggestion, Star, because I had totally forgotten about my manifest list. And it's the first time I've looked at it since we were in Tampa. And I had a lot of things on my list: peace, less judgment, which I've already shared with you folks in our last meeting, more awe in each moment, a spiritual based career, more energy, tighter friendships, better sleep, own every moment, love more, less sense of urgency, maintain my humor and my authenticity, feel more intensely and laugh more often, be happier with less things. I put be on stage, which is kind of interesting, influence the many, heal and health, and teach. Those were my list to manifest. But I think what's most important to me now is healing and health and the whole energy thing. I'm working with John, as I told you the last time, on less judgment. And, so health for me is the big thing. And I have been sick since mid-December with flu A and flu B, and I've just stopped coughing, and I still have some vocal cord issues, but I also have a chronic illness, rheumatoid arthritis. I have secondary Sjogren's. I have many sort of autoimmune diseases, and I really would like to heal. And I realize that healing starts in the invisible. You know, it starts with the spiritual solution. But I'm still struggling, and I'm a little annoyed because I've been at this. I was 25 when I got rheumatoid arthritis, a little bit older when I got Sjogren's, but I've known for a long, long time that there's a lot of mind-body connection here. And so I'm a little curious why I haven't been more successful manifesting my physical health based on my belief and my knowing that it comes from my spiritual world. So I don't know how to ask for help about that. I'm going to John right after this, and I'm going to ask him why he thinks it's been so challenging for me to get over this, you know, almost, well, month and then some of this flu bug, and you know, how I stay on the path of healing, because you know, I'm not where I want to be. I've done some good things. I've stopped the progression of my RA. I have moderate to severe. As far as I know, the only Sjogren's symptom is that I have no salivary glands that operate without medication. But boy, would I love to be able to produce my own saliva, you know, like, so what pieces aren't I tapping that are available to me to help me manifest this physical wellness? That's my big thing. And I want it now.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, I'm a big follower of the law of attraction. And I feel like just that energy of I want it and I don't have it is always a big block. And like, but that's like the hardest thing to overcome. And so you have to, like, I mean, I don't have any advice, but it's like, that is probably the energy you have to work on. Like, because it's hard. I think, especially if it's affecting your health and your body every day,
Right.
to look beyond where you're at.
I really got hit when you just said, I'm tapping. You were like, you literally said, how am I tapping into it or something? And I just laughed. I'm like, you need to tap. Did you try that since the last call?
I did. I
Awesome.
actually did. And I really, I was resistant, as you know, and I did it anyway. And what I realized was, as I was telling, you know, even though I'm a judgmental bitch, I love and accept myself, you know, and what I realized was if you do it enough, which I haven't done enough of it, it becomes instinctual, and it becomes a tool that separates you from the judgment and helps you flow into love. So I love that part about it. And also I do think tapping meridians is, you know, great for your body too. But
and even just I would tap on that fear that nothing's getting better, you know, and it's energy blockages for sure. I mean, that's one big part of it. And then and I agree with Star and the law of attraction. Like for years I had sticky notes on my mirror. I am whole and perfect as I was created. And every day I would read that every day, you know. But then when it comes to the rheumatoid arthritis, I get it. That's a chronic condition, but you will find people out there that aren't struggling with it anymore.
You know, that's a great reminder, because I actually went to a Michael Beckwith. I was so fortunate to be in a very intimate group with him twice at Omega in New York. And one of his books he signed for me, and he wrote me this thing that said, I am healed, whole and healthy, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go get that book and read that every day.
Every day. And I can tell you, my family doc was told to build his house wheelchair accessible because of his rheumatoid arthritis. And he was 40 some odd years old. And that day, as a family medicine doctor, but he's Indian by background, he did build his house wheelchair accessible. And then he said, what can I do for me? And he changed. He became a vegetarian that day and he started swimming. He has not stopped swimming in 37 years, every day. And we live in Manitoba. It's winter. He has a connection to every pool, every hotel, and he does not stop swimming. And this man he golfs, he swims, he's so agile. So yeah, you just got to be able to say, fuck you, arthritis, you're not in charge,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So it'll come.
yeah. I mean, I have some limitations from damage already. Like I have screws in my feet and I have, all these things. So I feel like I can't undo that.
No.
But that I can, just get stronger, I think.
I
And my
just
immune
watched,
system boost, and that's
yes, I just watched the Tapping Solution movie 2 days ago because I was in my office. I was like, I'll throw this one in and listen to it while I'm typing things. And literally it was somebody with a bunch of hardware in their body who had so much pain. And after a bunch of tapping and acceptance, the pain went away and the hardware is still there.
right.
So
Right.
there's a possibility. There's always a
Right.
possibility.
There is. I know.
Yeah. Good stuff, Donna. You're on a good
Thank
path.
you. Thank you.
Mhm.
I think it's Kevin's turn, right?
Yeah, I'll make this quick because we're right out at 3
I
minutes.
mean,
to
I'm
go.
okay if we go like 5 minutes over
Yeah, I
or
can go
something,
5
if everyone
too.
else is.
Yep.
So
Or is
Some time.
the Zoom call going to kick us out?
no.
Okay, good.
So I was looking for this list of what I wanted to manifest because it seemed like it went out there. And I found the sentence that said, what is in my heart space that I desire, which I feel like is how we get to what we want. I want a thriving business and more income to pay off outstanding bills, debts, all that kind of thing, which has been my ongoing thing my entire life. But it's never been something that has not manifested. It's always been something there's always enough. And I think for me, I had to get my head around that part of not believing that there was always enough. That piece seems to be, I always feel like it's going to run out because I was raised by war babies. So that's where it comes from. I want a loving partner to share my life with like a romantic husband partner type. 2 things that have happened since I wrote this: a clear connection with my angels and to be an angel messenger. Those 2 they've already transpired. To publish a book of daily angel messages, but I don't know what that looks like. I think it's automatic writing, but I'm not really sure. Then to make a positive difference in the lives of other people, which is what I think the YouTube channel is doing by all the comments that people make. The one that I'm constantly working on is to love myself and be kind to myself more. And then to make an impact in this life that helps all of mankind. And that was sort of the agreement I made when I had that near-death experience and wasn't ready to go. And, my grandma, who I never met, said, you got some work to do. In other words, they wanted me to go and I didn't want to go. And then I made a deal. Okay, I'll do the work. The piece that has somewhat eluded me, but now I've got clear since I got back from Tampa, why was this not being loved unconditionally by that special person, that special partner. And the answer I keep getting when I go on these angel walks is simply, you are so loved by so many, you just aren't seeing it. And does it really matter that it's one person? Wouldn't you rather be loved unconditionally by a lot of people? So this is where, not that I want to, that sounds a little bit too over the
No,
top.
it doesn't.
This is where I felt like, oh, that's my way in. And there is an interesting connection I made with someone that was unexpected, happened before I went to Tampa, and then picked back up right when I got back, like a friend who needed help that wanted me to be more of a support system, that's actually turned around and said, I'd like to be more than just friends, which I was completely blown away by, completely taken aback. And during our friendship, it transpires that I'm able to pull messages from his deceased mother, and she talks to me, and I've passed it on to him. And even though when I feel like I don't think this is romantic, I'm really not sure that this is where it's going, because I'll share with you, there's a 30-year age difference, which at first I was thinking, I'm not sure about this. This is a little odd. But the more I go to push it away, the more it's like, okay, well, no, you just have to keep going, keep moving, keep helping, keep manifesting, and see where this goes. And that's where as far as it got. So I think, I'm on the pathway to getting what I'm writing down I need. Probably just have to keep going through it and looking at it over and over and seeing what's missing.
Getting out of your own way.
Yes, overthinking,
The 30-year age difference, does that bother him or does it more bother you?
Oh, doesn't bother him whatsoever. And one of my best friends that I had kept this quiet, we've been best friends since we took yoga teacher training together. She was saying, I think you've got something to tell me and you're not telling me because there's a reason. She didn't know what it was. And I did tell her. And she said, well, why did you not tell me? I said, because I don't want to be judged. And she, well, who's going to judge you? I said, well, you might, because this is a bit odd for me. And then she admitted that when we met, she was dating someone that was 35 years older than her. And she said, but you didn't judge me. I said, well, because you and that man, we were the same, he and I were the same age, and it didn't occur to me. So looking at other people that have done it doesn't bother me, but looking at myself, I don't know, it feels, it's exciting and it's fun. I have to say that, it really is. He just makes me giggle and laugh like I have never giggled and laughed, and he's so silly and goofy. But I'm thinking, this is crazy. Maybe because I don't believe it's happening. Maybe that's it.
Maybe, or maybe you're nervous for him. Like he's younger than you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So maybe you're nervous for him. You're thinking, okay, in 20 years, this is where I'm going to be, and this is where you're going to be, like physically or whatever. But that's okay. That's his choice too, right? You got to let him make that decision.
Oh, for sure. And I'm not sure. I've learned not to be looking that far out.
Oh, good.
To be looking at what's in here right now, being present, instead of worrying about 5 years from now.
That's good.
Yeah. That's what I think too, like just have fun now, like not worry about that. And if you're just focused on having fun with this person in the moment that you're, when you're with them, then everything else will fall into place as, as it should. So,
yeah.
And I think it's a great opportunity for protection against the judgments that you will get, because you will get judgments. Our culture, we're judgmental about everything. So I think it's a good, and why do I say that? Because I'm working on that in myself. But I do know there's plenty of people who would judge that discrepancy in a relationship. But you know what? Their judgment isn't important. So I think there is an opportunity to, protect yourself from other people's judgments of it, because you will get them.
Yeah.
That's all, because that's the least thing I would ever worry about, what other people have to say, because I've never cared about it. I grew up openly gay with a family that were like, no, you are of the devil. You cannot be doing that in this family. So I had it from the nest. So that doesn't bother me. That never bothered me.
It sounds like it's more the, am I deserving of this unconditional?
Yeah. I think the self-love piece is probably the key to almost everything else on your list, honestly, right? Because you deserve abundance, you deserve a partner, no matter their age, you deserve, all of these things. So
when absolutely. I let myself go there, it almost takes all that stuff you have to cut, all those shadow pieces away.
I'm so happy for you, Kevin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
me too.
Because
I remember
good.
You told us in Tampa that that's what you wanted.
Yes.
Was a meaningful romantic relationship. I remember that.
Yeah.
On your birthday, I remember that.
And the message came up with that card, said, just be yourself. So I'm like, oh, okay. Which I never understood then. Now I do.
Yeah.
All right,
Awesome.
I'm going to send this link out through that YouTube. Did that work for you all last time to review it?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And then who's up hosting next? Mary Sue, it's you, right?
Is it-
I think it's me, but I
Okay,
can't remember
okay.
the date.
Either
February.
one.
Did we choose one?
We were just kind of doing arbitrarily 2 weeks after. Is that true? No.
Yeah.
The second weekend after,
Second weekend after the call. So
the second weekend
wh-
after the call. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
is Radley's call?
On the 11th. No, that's Heather. On Radley's call is on the 23rd of February. He moved it.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to be the 9th, but he moved it to the 23rd.
I don't think I saw that yet.
that's
Okay.
the CAA call. Yep, that is the 23rd. So then
Yep.
that would be our next session would be the
5th or the
5th of
12th.
March.
Yeah,
March
5th,
5th.
5 or 12. Hey, around there.
Yeah, and then the next Radley call will be March 23rd.
So can we all convene on March the 5th at like noon? Is that good?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great for me.
All right.
And Kevin, I don't know if you got my email, but if I think there was a couple of months that need a host, and I'm happy to host. And I did go back to the idea of us each doing a 3-card reading for the group. We set the
Right.
intention that the readings for the group, and then we allow people to a couple of minutes to say, this is what I sort of interpreted from the card. That's what I would like to host if possible.
So you're okay. I like that. So Nicole's next. Mary Sue, I think, comes up in the April one. So that just really leaves one more.
Okay.
Wow.
And then, for the sake of Grace and Nancy, I'll send the link out to them so they can get clued in. One thing it did occur to me, and I'm going to ask all of you, when Radley was talking on the last call about all of us, how important it was to get together and to help move this along even further. Like, he didn't want anyone to feel left out. How would you feel about sharing this Zoom link to those in that CAA main group? And I don't know
I'm fine
why
with
I
it.
felt that way, because I felt like, I wonder if there's anyone out there
Yes.
that wants to be part of a group like this, but they can't seem to get it together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
And my first
Sure.
I
reaction
don't
is
see
fear.
anything that I would be embarrassed about later.
I mean, if it's our CAA group, there's only 70 something of us, right? It's that small group.
Yeah.
Well,
There was
yeah.
70 of it. There are maybe, I think, was
Yeah.
it 10 houses or 10
Yep.
mastermind groups? And as he was talking, I thought, I've been in these organizations before. No judgment, but always there are folks that drop off somewhere between the halfway point and the sort of end of it. And I thought, well, I would not like people just to feel like they don't have a support somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
How would you get the message out to Kevin, how would you get the message out to folks that it would be available for them if they need a group to kind of,
Well, I thought I would, first of all, would put it in the CAA Facebook
okay,
place with the link to it if they wanted to go look at it, watch it. I've actually sent an email out to Radley and Bridget, but they didn't get back to me on it. So
Okay.
I think that's a good place to start. And then, I'm all about putting a request out there with the intention of being of help. But if it's like, no, we don't want people cross-referencing, I can't imagine why.
yeah,
It might be that they want you to stay within your own group, as opposed to people saying, well, I want to go join them, or I want to go join them. But
I can't imagine that they would,
right, I'm with you, Star.
because
that they
the
would.
intention is just to allow someone to view this that doesn't have their own group to view. That's the intention.
Or
not
maybe, or maybe isn't feeling very connected to their group, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's that
yeah,
too. Because
yeah.
we're all. I know a friend in a different group, and it's very, very different. Like they're messaging. I mean, her phone blows up every single day on a group text, and she's like, oh my God, again. Like it's almost exhausting. So, you know,
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm one of those that would have to say, "Oh, I gotta push that down."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whew.
So,
All right.
so
I'm-
anyway,
All right.
who knows?
yeah.
I'm fine with
Great to
it.
be
Love
with
you
everybody.
all.
All right.
I love
All right
you.
then, guys, and see you on the 5th of March at noon. I'll set it up.
Okay. And if we
Thank
want to chat,
Bye.
All right.
okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody,
Bye.
for your wisdom.
Bye.